I grew up hearing Dr. King. There was something about his voice, maybe about his appeal.
Dr. King had collected a lot of social themes and couplets and words and language, and he brought all the best of those years of speaking together in one gloriously magnificent moment.
I have a dream.
When he spoke that day on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, he was preaching from his heart, from his soul, from his guts.
As the day of the march drew near, I stayed at the Willard Hotel where Dr. King was staying. Now, among his advisors, there were those who were suggesting, Martin, people are coming to the March on Washington because they've come in to hear you preach. And there were others, and they said, no, Dr. King, we have to give a kind of political direction, a treatise of where we are. I was part of that group. And he was being very gracious. He said, well, thank you so much, but I'm going to go up and work on my speech and counsel with the Lord. It's the day of the speech. I'm standing on the platform, about 50 feet behind him.
I had no credentials, but I kind of crawled up the steps and backed my way in.
Everybody was curious as to what this young man's going to say.
As you would expect, we'd have a large crowd like that. People had their own mini conversations going on, you know.
But when Dr. King got up, it got quiet. I mean, it was like you were at church.
He's introduced by A. Philip Randolph in this sonorous voice.
I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
I couldn't get to him to wink my eye or to say to him, Mike, come on, you can do it, you can do it.
And after a couple of perfunctory introductory sentences, I'm listening to his speech.
50 years ago,
I concentrated on his words and what he was saying.
And as I'm listening, I see that he is reading. I had written out in longhand a possible opening paragraph.
America has given the Negro people a bad check.
And I did notice at a certain point, he starts off reading, and then at a certain moment,
Mahalia Jackson interrupted him while he's speaking. Tell him about the dream, Martin. Tell him about the dream. His whole body language changed. And he changed to what I call the Baptist preacher stance. And I say to the person standing next to me, whoever that was, I said, these people don't know it, but they're about ready to go to church.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up.
Like the greatest jazz musician, he just does an incredible solo.
It was as if some transcendental terrestrial force had come down and taken over his body.
I didn't know that Dr. King had left the script, but that's what was in there.
And you stood in wonder as he spoke, as these words came out.
My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
But in his talking, and my mind wandering back to what I had been through, and when he started talking about his children, you know, I felt like, wow, he's talking about me.
You know, at bottom, Dr. King is a musician. And if he was reciting a telephone book, the rhythms and transition to phrasing, you know, would bring you to an emotional acceptance.
And once in Southwest Georgia, he heard people singing a song about over my head, I can see freedom in the air. And I think all of that just sort of came together.
With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation.
We live in realities lots of times, and somebody talks about a dream, it gives a certain image, but the image that he gave was a future, and it wasn't beyond our reality to think that certain things could happen.
We were looking for leadership, and he was offering it.
The I Have a Dream speech was a summons, a call to the collective conscience of America. That we can be better than this.
Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky. As far as the eye can see, there were just people.
It just blew everybody away. We had no idea there would be 250,000 people there.
Mothers with babies and strollers, church women with their church hats and pocketbooks and fancy shoes. And
it was walking down the street